The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what are you trying to do? You just show off
I don't
your
know.
hat?
I feel like I'm in the shadows, so
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to break out of the
St.
shadows.
We can see you.
Patrick's Day's over.
Oh, yeah.
We can see you fine. And Rockstar Jeep Girl, Jessy.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We were just talking about, like, I got an itchy beard now. Like, I was thinking about the beer butter.
See,
butter.
now I need one.
You need a beard butter? You need, a beard?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
It might be
I don't
interesting.
think Corey's into beards.
No.
On others.
I mean, it would keep her face warmer. I mean, you know.
He'd probably put me a circus show. So
Didn't they have, like, who's that? Like, they make the knitted face covers that look like a beard?
the crocheted.
The crocheted ones?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the difference between crochet and knitting? I don't know. Do you know?
I think it's the implementing in the material.
The material, and then actually how the weave happens or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How the weave happens.
How the weave happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah. Well. For all the rest of you out there, welcome to the Modern Jeeper Crochet Show. We're going to show you very slow things on how to make your own scarf and masks. And
macrame. We need to do macrame.
Are you guys?
What's the difference between that and macrame?
Macrame is
tying,
like tying four big strands together, kind of.
Oh,
thing.
so like when we were when you were a kid and you had the little thing where you put some yarn on, and you'd spin it a bunch of times, and it would make its own little pattern, and then you would sew all those together and make a big blanket. And no,
you're thinking of knitting and crocheting, where they spin instead of taking the ball of fluff you just bought, and it going all over the place. You methodically put it in a good place where when you're knitting, it free flows itself.
Well, I was thinking about the old, like the 2:00 in the morning info shows where it was like this little machine that you could put the yarn on, and if you did it properly, it made its own little octagon or whatever that was like a little you could use it as a coaster. You could use it as a as what do they call the things that go underneath the hot pan on a table, whatever.
Yeah, a trivet,
or as a trivet, or you could sew them together, which would be macrame, right? And then make a large blanket.
Macrame, think of a plant hanger.
Right. Okay.
That's what macrame is.
Okay.
It's like tying knots. It's tying knots, basically.
Okay. Macrame is
in
more
a pattern.
And knots in a pattern.
Yep.
Great.
Glad we got that.
I'm glad we got that out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, in the ModernJeeper Show, we talk about everything. And knots are important. So it's important for us to understand knots and things, because you don't want to crochet anything that really is going to be supportive for your Jeep. You might want to macrame something for your Jeep, though.
Yes.
Because knots are good.
Knots sounds so negative, though.
I'm not like that.
We should call them yeses or something. I don't know.
Yes.
So are you guys like bringing boats to work in California?
You would think, because according to the most recent thing, we're dumping 20,000 gallons an hour or something out of the Folsom right now. 20,000 gallons an hour out of Folsom, and which is one of these things where they're going, well, wait, shouldn't we have a water plan to be able to save this water? Oh, we did. It was called the Auburn Dam, that was approved to be done back in the late 70s, early 80s. In fact, there is a community out there called the Auburn Lakes Community. I think it's like Auburn Lakes, and it oversees. It was like a exclusive golf course community that was built. That was a gated community built where it was supposed to be right on the lake. That isn't there. And last night, the funny thing was, I was watching a stupid little movie on my pad, and I was watching Triple X, right, with Vin Diesel. And in Triple X, the opening scene of Triple X, he's driving this. It's funny too, because this is so old that he's driving a Corvette that looks like a piece of junk, but at the time it was hot. And he's got portable cameras on the Corvette strapped down with straps that are the giant cans, right? Because it's actually a camera inside of a giant can. It's not a little GoPro and all those other stuff that we'd see now, right? Strapped onto this Corvette, and he jumps it off of the Forest Hill Bridge. The Forest Hill Bridge is this giant bridge where you've seen base jumping and lots of other stuff happening, and guys do bungee jumping off of or whatever. It's a bridge that was built with the intention of it going over the Auburn Lake. There was supposed to be a lake there on that fork of the American River. So there was the dam itself was approved. Funding was approved for it. The bridge was built to go over it. Everything was set for there to be a lake up there, the Auburn Lake. And then whatever happened, the incentivized changes, some of the money was taken. There's lots of discussions as to where the money ended up. Some would say some of the money ended up on our light rail system and some other areas where just money was just reallocated because there was too much opposition from a few people to building a lake there. But again,
well, I know that all we get for weather, like our weather reports are, here comes another huge storm into California. And I mean, it's spring, like spring has sprung, and we had snow yesterday. We have a week of rain and snow forecasted for here on the western slope of Colorado. You know, Moab, Eastern Jeep Safari is coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And we have a high of, 36 degrees.
It's going to be a weird year. I spoke with Jeremy Rowan last night. Well, you did too. You talked to him, but when I was talking to him, I said, "So what's going to be like? It's going to be a white Moab," and he's like, "It's snowing right now." Literally, he was in his shop and it was snowing right now.
Yeah,
last night. So.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting, and typically by now, and it's later this year, and it's typically a little warmer because it's a little later, and this year. We're getting a lot of questions about what the San Juans are going to look like in Colorado. When can we go wheeling? We got to get into the mountains. It's still snowing, and I don't know what to tell people because there's a lot of snow this year, and it's going to be late in the season before it all melts.
I'm telling people probably July because I've been here where they still had miles of walls where they plowed through, and you couldn't see anything anyway except for walls of snow. Right. So that happens in July.
That's what it's like going up to, my understanding, going up to like Uncle Tom's cabin in that area. Yeah. It's like just a wall of snow on either side. You're going down to Tahoe, and it's like apparently at Tahoe, you can't go over across the center median. You got to go do U-turns because they basically had plowed so much snow that the center of the road became partly of where they were storing some of the snow. Because, you can't go down the road and have it go into the buildings.
Right.
Yeah, right. So they have it going, it's you got to start thinking about these. Well, maybe Tahoe is one of those places where the casino money needs to pay for the road to be heated. So it just melts right off, right?
Yeah.
They do that in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You want a casino, then there's a plan for them to improve the area.
Yeah. See, they make plenty of money off of all of us fools. I mean, they should be able to do that.
One would think, let's just say that. Where it would go, we don't know.
Well, yeah, it goes up somebody's nose. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be crazy. So it's going to be this white winter there.
Yeah.
When and I remember being there, and I've gone a couple of years. And you're right, though. Usually in April, when you have April, it's the warmer year. If it's in March, it could be colder, right? You kind of go back and forth, right? This year it's in April, beginning of April, but still you would expect it to be warmer. But it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully the weather's good because, guys, sorry, I mean, for all of our fans out there, if the weather's bad, we ain't CTIing because it's not safe, right? And it's just not
if the trailer's wet, and that's always an issue. If it's cold, that's cold. That's something different. But if the trailer's wet, that's a problem. And hopefully, I mean, Moab is typically the kickoff of our season, so
right.
We've had a few events already this year. Even our Death Valley event, we had some interesting weather for it, and winter 4x4 jamboree that kind of started the year. It was cold and rainy. We've complained about it being so dry in the West, and well, be careful what we complain about. I guess it's that time of year. So I know everybody's in project mode. Everybody's trying to get ready for Easter. I just was reading some stuff on some of the concepts that Jeep could potentially be bringing. There's been a couple of teaser photos out there talking about maybe a 4xe Gladiator, and a first look at what that could look like. It'll be interesting to see what the concepts are this year.
Yeah, definitely. And there's been a lot of discussions on that. The cool thing about it is you're gonna be out there. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be jealous the entire time. You guys are going to be at the Bilstein party. You guys are going to be at there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's going to be fun. But my guys will be out there, and again, I won't be there. So I really don't give a rat's ass why we're even talking about it, because
I get that. Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more I'm depressed that I'm not going to be there.
Well, Jessy, we'll package up some pastages for you and send you a little.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just get it to go. I'll send my order. I'll send my order. Then I'll put it in my oven for it to heat up to 140 degrees. So
yes, bubbles. And make sure you burn your mouth.
Burn my mouth as it's bubbling out. Yeah. But then some cheesy bread that I can warm up in the microwave. Of course, that's probably a good idea. Because now I'm thinking about really, but what I want you to do is go over down to the jailhouse and get some of those lingonberry pancakes.
Right.
Yeah. And then, but you got to get pictures of our table and stuff, and you got to figure out how to do the podcast there. I mean, there's lots of stuff.
All the things.
There's all the things.
You bring up some good stuff, because I know a lot of folks are starting to kind of go, hey, so what's going on? We took Tillamook, our adventure up there, off the board this year, just because we are kind of refocusing our attentions and kind of just, it's good to give things a little bit of a root canal now and then. You have to change things up, and the folks that have followed MetalCloak and have followed ModernJeeper and you know what, there's some changes coming, and we haven't been very vocal, because reality is we're still going to be out there. We're focusing very heavily this year on our CTI Tour and making sure that the people that do business with MetalCloak, the people that have followed us as ModernJeeper, that they're all still being taken care of, and that we're getting them the things that they need and the things that they want. So this year, really, for Jessy and I, it's become we're refocusing our attentions on making sure the CTI Tour, that we're able to help more people get our jobbers and our customers taken care of across the country. So I know that people are like, they're not doing a Tillamook event. Yeah, we'll probably come back to that at some day. Who knows what the future looks like? But those for our friends that are like, well, what's going on? They have to understand how much work and time and effort those kind of things take for us. Moab is going to be our probably maybe one of our last adventures this year, just because we have a full schedule of stuff.
Craziness.
Trying to get to more events, trying to visit more jobbers, all of these things that, again, it just takes a lot of time for us to structure in these adventures. As much as we love doing them, who knows what they look like going down the road, but they're not gone. Don't everybody lose their mind and go, they're going out of business or whatever. Like, no, that's not the case.
And it's interesting because we haven't really talked about it publicly. You're right. Then we've kind of let a few of our partners know, but guys, this is just the way that Corey and Jessy operate. It takes an incredible amount of time to organize one of these events and do one of these events. Even though we have local partners that do a lot of the work as well, this is not just like hey guys, come meet us out here, we're going to do it and kind of get half-ass. It's not half-ass at all. I mean, you figure almost every adventure is different. Almost every adventure has something else, especially Death Valley. Death Valley, they pre-run the event. They do a hell of a lot of research on it. And they make it an incredible event. That's a lot of time. And the truth is some of the other stuff that we were doing got neglected. And it wasn't that it wasn't being done right. It was just we were doing less of it because so much time needs to go into other things. So all we're doing is refocusing. Now, we're also been having this conversation. I'll be very frank. This is the ModernJeeper Show, but we talk a lot in this show about things beyond Jeeps. And it was originally a show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers. And we're revamping or revitalizing that entire concept of, well, we're talking about more of it. So, it may be there's going to be different branding happening because we're expanding beyond just Jeeps. We're expanding into this world that's all about off-roading. what we do every day, what we do at MetalCloak, is about more than Jeeps now. Even though Jeeps is still the bread and butter, Jeeps are still the core focus, and Jeeps is what we all love. It is that the world itself and what we can talk about and what we can do and how we can interact with people is expanding too. I will say that we have new trailers being built. And those, it might not be introduced till next year, but the idea with the trailers is that we're going back and with all the lessons learned and all the 10,000 CTIs that we've done, how can we make trailers a little bit better that they can fit a wider variety of vehicles, and work in multiple conditions and be able to have all the successes that we've had with the red trailer, with all, it's all these things so that we can have and continue to do CTIs for years to come. And if you're
it's that better experience thing, and that's what we did with the Modern Jeeper Adventures, and for people that, Modern Jeeper was something that Matson and I came up with years ago, and we didn't really. It was just kind of an outlet for MetalCloak's media, and it just kind of it became me, and it was kind of weird for a period of time. We focused a lot on the ModernJeeper.com website, and who knows, that website may even be somehow incorporated into MetalCloak. It's not about me anymore. It's about us, and it's really become a team effort for all the things that we do. So this isn't, people don't think of this as something like, oh, well, that's going away. Like, it's just going to evolve. It has to evolve.
The world has to change. Change is good.
Is great. We have to evolve. I mean, MetalCloak is the best in the business, guys. They pride themselves. We all pride ourselves in loving the company that we work for, and as well as building it up to make it better. And that's what MetalCloak is about, is making it better and doing it right. So stay tuned, because there's a lot of awesome changes coming, and let's be positive about it, because it is positive. There's nothing negative about it. Nope. We all have to change. Yep. We keep doing the same things over and over again in life. What happens? Yeah.
Right. And that's well said, Jess. Well said. Because the reality is that you have to constantly evolve. We look at product lines all the time. How do we change? How do we improve? What can we do? What can we say? And the same thing's true about how we do operations here. I mean, we don't ever sit back on our laurels. And sometimes change is hard. Sometimes, Doug will come in and say, I want to start doing things this way. Well, guess what? We all get refocused and we go in and we start doing that. And it turns out, damn it, he was right. And that things do improve and things do get better. But that's how we look at things, as a constant change. All this is an evolution. What that evolution looks like, we'll know in the next few weeks, and how that all comes together. But the beauty of it is that you're going to see more of Corey and Jessy out there. If you're out at events, you're going to see them at more events this year. You're going to see them at more jobbers this year. You're going to see them. There's a lot more on their plate, because they're allowed to focus on that, which is ultimately our goal here. Our goal is to interact with you. The adventures are great, but
I can already hear it. People are going to go, they got told that they have to go to work now. You know what? it's the adventures are fun, but to be honest with everybody, like, it's been more invigorating and more fun for me, because a lot of our followers, they don't see kind of the structure that we have behind the scenes, how we all communicate with each other. There's a whole lot of internal systems that we use, and it's been really fun for me to kind of go in and refocus and go, you know what, the reason I do what we do is because we love to travel, and we like the interaction with all of the folks we get to meet at these events. But we've never really had, we've always hit the big events, and then we're planning the next adventure in the middle of our event structure. It just becomes mentally, it's very difficult. So,
it's a challenge too, because in some cases you're like, okay, I've got we're in Colorado. We got to go out to New Jersey. Then we got to go back to Tillamook, Oregon. Then we got and the reality is it's doable, but then in the meantime, you don't have time to stop at the shops and at the places and other places, interact with the you're only going big event to big event, big event to big event. And it's guys, it's stressful. I mean, it's stressful to try to push all that. So now it's a much more solidified schedule, a lot more CTI time, a lot more time out there meeting each and every one of you. at every major event, by the way, at every major event, you're going to have somebody from MetalCloak coming out. In fact, I'm probably going to Roush, or not Roush, but to Offer Fun, and because nobody else is available, so I'm probably going to be the guy going to Offer Fun this year, which is cool. I haven't been out there in a long time. Get to see Mike Cashman and the crew, and be
all breeds.
All breeds. Oh yeah.
All
that's
breeds.
not Offer Fun. Yeah, I was thinking. Sorry,
That's okay.
Sorry, you're PA All Breeds. You're right. Well, that's why I said Roush initially.
I knew what you meant. Yeah,
yes, you know what I mean. We all knew what I meant, but yeah, right. I think I love All for Fun, but that's not the one I'm going to. PA All Breeds. I'd see Mike Cashman and the crew out there. I'll get to go out to that one.
Yeah, it's again, these shows are they're a lot of work, and so kind of this new I don't know, structure change in going to events. We have more support. We have it's organized in a better way for us to be able to help everybody that, I get it. It's always frustrating for me because everybody that knows us, we'll sit out there for 10 hours and I won't have eaten or had anything to drink. And I want to get everybody on and off the trailer that wants to get on there. And so now we'll have a little bit more support. And unfortunately, we still won't be able to do a lot more than what we can do and what we've done in the past. So it's, I don't know, maybe by us being out there more, we can help more people that don't get to get on the trailer at a big event. When we have 100 Jeeps out there and we only have a 6-hour day that we can, get people on and off the trailer, I get it. We're not going to get to everybody. But by going to other events and even the jobbers and stopping at these other maybe smaller events around the country, hopefully we're able to help some folks. Mm-hmm. And again, if you can't get on the CTI trailer, it doesn't mean you can't come over and have a conversation with us about what your build is doing or all of that. So I hope folks don't go, well, it sucks. I never get to get on the trailer because there's a big line. Now we'll have the staff that you can still come over and talk to us. And hopefully we can help with your build or your project or your questions. And even if you couldn't get on the CTI trailer, there's no reason why we can't help you in whatever questions you may have. So
absolutely.
It turns out we've seen a thing or two over the years, and yeah.
Gee, Corey, have you ever seen a suspension system? I mean,
nope.
No
idea.
No.
Yeah.
And then of course I get bombarded with the shops because they all know us. I mean, they're like our extended family. They call me, they text me, and hey, what are y'all doing? Y'all going to come through town? Y'all going to stop? So now we can focus on those guys more too. And the guys that I contacted yesterday are just ecstatic that we're coming to see them. They're just so grateful that we're finally paying attention to them for a minute. So
well, again, and we kind of gotten a little bit sidetracked because we're focusing on some of the things that are a little bit outside kind of the growth of what we saw with ModernJeeper and that kind of thing. And it turns out we have to refocus sometimes. So our schedule, we have a lot of questions about what our schedule looks like. That'll be coming. You'll probably see a new CTI Facebook presence as that evolves. Right now, the CTI, we've posted, most of that stuff happens on Instagram on the CTI_Tour Instagram handle, but there'll be a better social media presence from the CTI perspective. Right now, the silver Dodge is getting wrapped. Jessy's rig will go to the graphics shop on Thursday. We're getting ready for Easter Jeep Safari. Like I said, a whole bunch of schedule stuff. We hope that we can see people in between a little bit better than we have in the past. Because now I don't have to mentally go, hey man, I need a pause button in between all of it. So while yes, some of the stuff has gotten taken off of our plate for good reason. And it's so that we can, again, like Matson said, we have to, evolution wise, it's a good thing for us. So I don't want people to go, oh, they're not, I haven't seen anything posted on the website. Yeah, just because we have a lot of other stuff going on. So don't.
Right.
We're trying to prepare the year for you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
And make it a good experience. So.
And we're working on a calendar system so you guys can view it and follow it on MetalCloak and on Facebook and on, and all the other locations where we do it. So you have a schedule so you can actually look at and see where they're at. Now, in an ideal world, we'd actually have a constant GPS on Corey's truck,
Right.
And you could sit there and follow it and go, oh, look, look, sweetheart, they're about to come through
it's kind
town.
of like you
Let's
get
go
to
wave
pay
at him as he goes over
$5
the
to
bridge, right?
follow
Yeah.
us. We'll have like a little, you know, those turtle tags or whatever and have a little map. This is where they are today. I don't know if that'd be a good idea.
And you'll end up having people with flags over the overpasses as you're driving
Corey
through.
And Jessy.
No, please, no.
Yeah.
It's still
maybe
awesome.
maybe you could use your spot, like you could do your
you could
publicly issue on your spot.
There's a little button on here that's got a little foot. If you can see the little foot,
yeah,
that is tracking, and it's live tracking. I typically keep that fairly private. Yeah. Maybe at some point down the road, you know, in between events, something like that. But for the most part, your local shops and your local event coordinators should know and should be advertising, telling people that where we'll be as well. So our goal this year is to make sure that we're not only helping shops grow and getting them what they need, but they should also be helping themselves as well, and promoting what events that they're a part of. So yeah. So if you have a local shop and you know that they are a MetalCloak dealer or supporter or whatever, have them reach out to us. I mean, they should already know what's going on. So.
And the other thing we'll be adding to the website is a form that will be for the future of this year. May already be booked out, but we want you to fill it out anyway, for a CTI request. If you're having a small event, if your club's having an event and you have 300 rigs coming out, that'd be probably our threshold of the minimum number. But if you're having at least 300 rigs come out to your event, and it's a small local event, we might be able to fit that in, especially, you know, one day event, come on out there on our way to do it and stop by and visit yours. We might be able to fit that in. These small events are great. And Corey and Jessy love doing that because it's intimate. They get to talk and meet you. You know, there's only so many CTIs can be done in the day. So obviously not everybody's going to get the chance to do it, but it's a chance to just be there, interact, mingle, and move on. So make sure to put that in. The form will probably go up this next week, so keep an eye on it at the contact us form on the website, on the MetalCloak website, metalcloak.com. And it's just a way to learn more about you, what events you have coming up. And as we are building up this whole new program, really, I didn't even say it's new, it's just a revamped program for the coming year. There may be some opportunities that some of your events might be able to be chosen as a stop along the CTI Tour.
That's right.
And we have quite a few new ones we're going to this year. So stay tuned, watch for our calendar dates.
What's the most exciting one, new one that you have listed that you guys are interested in doing?
It's that Help a Vet Shine. I mean, she's been begging for over 4 years. I talk to her every year about her event. And when I popped in, I'm like, I think we can make this work. And I'm like, Corey, what do you think? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. And so I contacted her, and she's just over the moon that we're coming.
Wow.
And that event,
it's a small little event, but we'll see.
It's out on the East Coast, and it's the end of October. So I know guys are like, wait, what? End of October? Yeah, because that's
how
what we have to
things.
do.
Yeah.
We're pretty planned out. It's fun for me to put, well, for the both of us, to put a calendar together and kind of go, what is happening in between these two times? So again, it's all about the experience, and that's why MetalCloak is investing in building 2 new trailers, guys. I mean, think about this. For our listeners that don't know, that CTI trailer that I pull around the country was made to last. It was originally intended to be built for a year or 2. It's been on the road for 9. Like it's crazy that so all of the things that we struggle with now, and yes, it's a width limitation and a length limitation and all of those things. The reason these 2 new trailers are going to get created is because of those limitations. We're going to try and make it a better experience. So,
and safety is a big issue.
Safety is a big deal. So yeah, no more maybe people, trying to fall down a set of steps, and it being too wide that I have tires hanging off the sides and things like that.
Or we have to stop because it's going to fall, you know, just stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
People are getting wider and wider and stretching things out, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
work
and there
very
was
well.
a day when it was very difficult to max out the trailer.
Yes.
And now suspension systems evolved so much that you get a lot of people max them out.
Yep.
Relatively speaking. And so it is, although, you know, it's all variable, but now you have more and more of that happening. So the trailer itself, the pads will be taller. It's going to be the new design. The pads are going to be taller. The pads are going to be bigger. The system's going to be set up differently. We're going to have the chance. So it's going to be a new challenge too. New people doing to go and say, "Ooh, can I max out this one?" Well, yeah, if you can max out that one, you've got a pretty freaky system. So
yeah, and it's gonna probably be like driving a Slinky down the highway. So
right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's great. I'm glad we brought it up and to let everybody know the world is changing. It's evolving, but it's just an evolution. And it's not because what was happening wasn't working. It's because we see a vision on a future that needs to adapt and be ready. We're always trying to do well. One of the things Doug, as our chairman and of the board, always does. He's always trying to think 2, 3, 4 years ahead. Right.
Mhm.
He came to us 3 years ago and said, "Hey, you know, this Amazon's going to become a search engine. Amazon's becoming a search engine. It's not and even Amazon today calls themselves a search engine, right? They are embracing that concept more. And so we started working on Amazon 3 years ago. Why? Not because we wanted to just sell a bunch of product on Amazon's, but because it was an evolution into a world where it is a search engine, and you learn
That's where
about
everybody's going.
yeah. You want to learn about a company, go. I do it. Like I see a product, the first thing I do is I search for it on Amazon. And if it's not there,
Totally.
you know, and the funny thing is, so is everybody else, because you can search for products all the time. You'll see it pop up in the search results as you're doing, and it's not there, but they'll give you 20 other similar products because maybe that company just simply hasn't gone on there, but people are still searching for that particular product on Amazon. And so we're just evolving, and I think it's gonna be awesome. It'd be great. We're gonna see more of you, and that's the beauty of it. But the reason we're here, and I'll still remember the conversation I had with the conversation I had with you, Corey, in 2000. What was that? 14. The end of 14. Yes, the end of 14, and happened to be like, "Oh yeah, you're available. Oh, let's talk." But the question I had for you was like, "Can you write?" But I was like, "Do you write? Do you like writing articles or anything?" He's like, yeah, I can, sure, yeah." Well, I had this idea, and let's read this out. But maybe we can have you do the CTI, which is kind of like a part-time gig thing. But to really fill up your time, we're going to start this online magazine concept that would just be able to do this. And fill your. The funny part was thinking that the CTI would be just kind of like not enough to fill your time.
right. Yeah, I mean, the way I have to look at it all is it's the reason that we're evolving and changing things is because it's been so successful.
Yeah.
Everything is everything takes more time, and when you if we give something our full attention, everything else around it kind of falls away. And unless you kind of reassess and you go, hey, what's really important? What do I want to do? I could sit here and write articles every day. That's really not what our intentions were. And the adventures are great too. I really love that. I like meeting the new people and learning about new areas, and that's great too. But to then focus and do everything really well, it's almost like we've created 4 different jobs into what we were trying to get done, and literally that's a good thing. Like it was successful, and now we need to we need to kind of go back and go, hey, we need to do this really well. Just people that know us know me. That's who I am, and I don't want to get so sidetracked into something that wasn't really what I wanted to do long term either. And who knows? The future things. Look at the last 3 years.
Yeah,
how much has changed in our world? Oh my goodness! It's everything. Everything has changed in our world. So, yeah.
It is. I mean, everything's changing, constant evolution. So we're gonna change too, and hopefully we're going in the right direction. We're making some right decisions. All I know is that what we're doing is a lot of fun. And you know, and I would happily, Corey, if you ever want to just like sit here in this desk, like just do it here. Jessy and I'll travel. You can stay here. That's fine. We'll just switch roles. Just for a month, right? Just for, or maybe 2.
Matson needs a break, he's saying.
For our listeners, Matson called me an hour and a half ago or so and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was actually standing in the garage, disassembling some pieces of Jessy's Jeep so that we can go and take it to the graphics place, our friends at Montrose Signs. And yeah, it's just funny, and I love that. I love being able to go out there and tinker, mess with the Jeeps. I'm thinking about a conversation since Matson brought it up early on with my relationship with MetalCloak, and I remember him saying, "So we've got this idea, we've got this trailer, and we think you should take it to events and stuff." And I remember thinking to myself, "That's really ridiculous. Who is going to want to pull up on a trailer at an event?" Yeah, that was 10,000 Jeeps ago. So
right.
There's something to be said for.
Well, you never wait. You never told me that was ridiculous. You thought like you just went like, okay.
Yeah, like wow, that sounds really dumb. But
that's yeah, we're great. Okay, yeah, you're like, that's good. You're gonna pay me to do that? All right. Well, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, because we haven't. I mean, you had kind of. Let's see. I don't think there might have been one, because I took that trailer out to EJS that year. I took it to I took it to EJS that year. I took it to Jeep Beach that year. But I don't think I'm not sure. I didn't take it to TDS that year. I don't think I took it to TDS that year. And so you hadn't actually seen it in action. You hadn't seen it, even because you were kind of with Jen Wright, but you hadn't really seen the line of people line up. So it's kind of a foreign concept to you.
Yeah, I remember going to our first event. I think it was in Moab, because I think I was taking the trailer from Moab and bringing it home. And I remember going, you got to show me how to run this thing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it was just, it's just funny for me to think about it. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, really.
I also remember calling you up and saying, "Hey, so I need you to do this and this and this." And you're like, "Dude, I'm not an idiot. I know what the hell I'm doing." Like, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, too funny. Well,
Jessy, he bit my head off when I was trying to give him some suggestions. Yeah.
Well, for like I said, for our listeners and whatnot, it's again, we're not going nowhere. And MetalCloak, the number of projects that they have internally, the number of new items that they're working on, there has to be a way for us to present them to the public. Well, guess what? The CTI Tour is part of that, and being able to kind of go, yeah, well, we might be working on something in this regard, or for us to be able to see stuff. It's a great marketing tool at the end of the day. So why wouldn't they want to embrace that? And yeah, I mean, everything is, again, parts evolve, our Jeeps evolve. And as Jeep keeps releasing new and creative versions of their Jeeps, it keeps all the engineers busy and all these aftermarket folks jumping. So
yeah, exactly. So it is and that, it's part of the fun. I mean, the reality is that we've learned a lot, and I think actually many in the industry have improved their products because of the CTI trailer. They'll come over and take a look at the problems and see that they have issues and see if there's those that are open to it. There's obviously those that are like, we're not open to anything MetalCloak shows us because they're just being MetalCloak, right? Which is unfortunate. But those that actually want to learn have an opportunity, because nobody else has that. I mean, you can grab a couple forklifts and do it yourself, but we tested over 10,000. We've tested and documented over 10,000 Jeeps since we started doing this. Documented, and that means that it's documented on paper with the suspension system that was on there from all the different carriers. Corey, is there a suspension system in existence that you haven't seen on the trailer?
I don't think so. I mean, if you've got something unique, you need to come hit us up at an event, because I don't think there's anything we haven't seen. And you bring up a good point. It's always funny to me, the people who go, "Oh, that's just a gimmick," or that's not That's not realistic. None of those numbers matter. And you know what? In a way, they're a little correct. But what I always tell people that is it is such an amazing tool. And they'll be a naysayer for the CTI trailer, but then they'll tell me when they built their Jeep, they had their buddy that has a shop that has a forklift, and they used that to test clearances. And then I think,
Right.
well, what do you think we're actually doing? We're just twisting it up even more. So again, it's a really good tool for you guys to understand what's working and what's not. That's it. It's not like I'm, pulling some magic tape measure out of my pocket going, oh yeah, I know that it looked like it was this far, but it was actually 8 inches. Like, we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's another thing we're building into the new trailer is a mechanical measuring device of some form so that you don't have to run around with the tape measure. So,
right.
We'll have a mechanic. I was really trying to push for the digital. Doug's point was, that requires too much and it could be a problem that fails down the road. So let's keep it mechanical, because it'd been nice to, we had this old concept for years that we'd build up this setup where the pads would be touch sensitive.
Right.
And the moment that a tire came off, it would automatically shut off, so that if you're not paying attention, you don't just raise it up too high. So it automatically stopped the moment that a tire released, because as you guys know in the CTI, the moment a tire comes off is when we stop it anyway, and then readjust it. And then it would measure score and put it up on a digital billboard. Like, like all of a sudden little drama, like the numbers flickering, and all of a sudden, boom, 960. Whatever. And then if it was really good, if it was like the day we'd have we could have little explosions,
confetti,
little confetti, fireworks.
Oh god.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then with lots of nights, you could actually do it at nighttime, like digiral lights.
Yeah, there you go.
You need
laser lights going up against the wall. CTI numbers being written in the clouds.
Oh lordy.
Dude, we could do an arena event with a CTI trailer.
There you go. Yeah, well, folks what they have to realize is that, of course, this is also an open trailer that we haul a Jeep on across the country. So all of these sensitive electronics and stuff, and they've known, some have seen us working on it, in the middle of an event where we had a moisture problem for a while and connector problem, and that thing gets abused. Your little home trailer that you pull your rig up on and take it to shows,
that's nice.
Go up and down on that 10,000 times, and then pull it,
thousands
350,000 miles over the course of 8 years. Like, let me know how that trailer's holding up. So, yeah, it's been abused.
It has been just a little bit.
Just
a little bit. Lots of mine. And really, you only had, like, knock on wood, but what, 4 tire issues?
Yeah, those were more. I mean,
those are lug issues, really. I mean, the axles have held up great.
So,
it was really built. It was built pretty beefy. It was over-engineered.
It was, and it was, the issues that we had. I used to, because of the width and our removable fender, I used to have people drive up on the tires for the width clearance issue, and that trailer would still rock back and forth a little bit. Well, if you take a wheel and it's those studs, those wheel studs, having somebody driven over the tire directly and then having it rock back and forth, eventually those wheel studs are going to break, and that's essentially what had happened. Now I keep folks off the tires, and we haven't had any issues since then. I run a 14-ply Milestar tire, and they're a Steel Pro tire. They're bulletproof. I mean, those tires are very heavy, very thick, and we have it. We take care of it. I tend to be a little anal about taking care of stuff, and it's held up far longer than it really should have or was ever.
You hit on something there. It's probably because of that. I think if I was the guy running the show, it probably would have broken down a long time ago. Matson, I mean, like even little things like when the rope breaks on the generator handle, it's like, so it'd be like my at home, like the wife pointed out for me that if, last year sometime the kids threw something, they broke the plate around their light switch, and we fixed it with some blue tape, and it's been like that for a while. I'm like, why have we replaced that? I don't know.
Speaking
about broken stuff, have you heard my latest the latest thing that happened in my household, in the Breaky household, and breaking things?
No.
So there is a thing that our last name is Breaky. So maybe this is just something I should pay attention to. So we all know the history, and for all those our listeners, you know that I talked about the fact that my son Jack had an incident with a babysitter where, you know, this 18-year-old babysitter, he was chasing her. Jack's 5 years old, but apparently was chasing her around with a pair of scissors. And like, you know, they just don't teach babysitters the way they used to. I'm like, why didn't you just grab him out of his hand? And you know, and she was scared. She actually took the other two kids and went into the guest room, and then he proceeded to destroy the door of the guest room, and which him and I did a whole project to fix that door together, right? So that was around Christmas time. We're literally at a Christmas dinner. I actually felt I told my wife as we're getting in the car and leaving that I felt like an adult because the kids are being left with the babysitter and we were going off to a dinner with some friends. You know, only to get a call in an hour saying, I don't know what to do. This freaked out babysitter who's crying because Jack's at the top of the stairs throwing books down at her. And lesson learned. It was turned out that for some reason she thought she had the authority to. We have a board where the kids get pegs when they do good things, and they lose pegs when they do bad things. And at the end of the week, there's rewards for that, right? So it's a stat board. She thought she had authority to take away pegs, right? And somehow somebody thought, no, you're babe. So she did that to Jack, and he just went ballistic, like, oh hell no. Anyway, and part of that process is he threw one of the books at our television at the time, our 65-inch television.
Oh, right.
And then that broke the TV, and we had to get a new one. And then that saga continued with us going down to Best Buy and getting a 75-inch TV that didn't fit in the minivan, and we drove home with both doors open. Right, that whole saga. So, but anyway, we had this nice 75-inch TV. Sunday morning, I was gone in the morning. I had to go do some stuff with my church, and I was running a little late, so I came home to find out that Jack was in trouble in his room, cleaning his room, and couldn't come out of his room because Vivian, our little daughter, threw her milk bottle at him. He got upset, grabbed the milk bottle, and threw it randomly in some direction, which turned out to be throwing it directly at the 75-inch TV, which hit the bottom of the television, broke it, and cracked it. And now it's a big, giant 4-inch line going up the center of the TV. I have a split screen, as Mike said, I have split screen TV now. So this is $1,000 4K TV that, by the way, I have no desire for a 4K TV. I can't really tell the difference on a 4K TV, but the other TV, I'm just like, it's just an absolute waste of money to have a 4K TV, but Best Buy gave us a really good deal for some other reasons. Anyway, so now, and of course, now it's broken, and no insurance, no coverage, none of that stuff covers a child throwing a bottle and accidentally breaking your TV, right? Just isn't covered. So even the Best Buy special plan that we have, because we're members, none of that stuff gets covered. So we're now figuring out this is the solution. By the way, this is the way we do things in the Breaky household. Every Friday night is pizza night, and the kids always look forward to it. Well, no pizza night for Jack for the next 4 weeks. Number two, he has a series of 10 tasks he has to do, or else he's not allowed to go with us to Lincoln City to visit to the vacation home. So he has 10 tasks to do. Number three, all of his pennies, all of his quarters out of his 2 piggy banks and out of his wallet where he keeps his dollars are going into the TV fund, all of it. And so he's going to pay for the new TV, help pay for it. Now, obviously that totals about $30, but it's going to be that every dollar, and he keeps saying, can I keep $1? No, all of it goes into this TV fund. Right. And there's a couple of other things on his list that he is being punished for the month, but it is it's like broken things, right? This is just the way things happen in the Breaky household. Jack's done it. It's fine. We'll move on. I don't even know how we got on the subject.
it's the main. So I mean it, and it's funny because
in that there's my punchline. As I totally forgot. Like, this is just another thing broken in the household. Now the reality is, I'm going to leave it for a month. I won't touch it for a month. Now, generally speaking, I probably wouldn't touch it for a month anyway. My wife will go out tomorrow and buy a new TV. if that's how she handles things. So the things that are broken around the Breaky household are, I have a door that has broken off the hinge but in order to replace that door, it's a full solid oak door. And I don't want to just buy another one. I got to find I'm going to move one from another area. Right. Mm-hmm. It's just a project. And I've said before, guys, I am not the project guy. I just don't do projects. Okay. Cause I don't have time to get things done.
There are some things that need to be dealt with like right away. And I get it. I have a lot of stuff that's probably just half done. But the things, there's certain things that break and you've got to fix them. Like, I mean, right now, so tomorrow we have a guy coming and we have a little hot tub outside and well, it's freezing cold here. Well, it stopped heating the other day, which last year the same thing happened and it turned out it was a breaker. So no big deal. They came out, he replaced the breaker in the sub panel and it was all fine. It's funny, and I'm thinking, well, we're not home a lot. So this thing, I was just going to drain it because I'm sure the heating element is probably done. It's like 18 years old or something. But the problem is it's freezing cold outside. So without a heater, like I have to do something. I either have to go out there in the freezing cold and drain it. Now the pump will still circulate water, but again, it's going to be expensive to replace this heating element. I just know it. It's probably $1,000 or something. And it's like, yeah, well, it sucks because if it was summertime, I wouldn't care. I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. It's not heating right now. It's broken. We'll fix it later. Yeah. But no, it's freezing and I can't have it. If it freezes up, well, then that's a bigger problem. And then I'm like, well, to drain it is fine too. Again, sometimes you have to fix those little things. You can't just let them go and go, yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. It is. It's taking care of things, right? It is that key thing of taking care of. And sometimes we deal with this at MetalCloak all the time. You have to cope and organize. You cope and you get through the situation, but you organize to prevent, detect, handle whatever in the future.
Right.
The same thing's true at home, right? But it's very easy in the Breaky household with the 3 kids, now 3 dogs, 2 cats, a wife, everything else, to be constantly coping just to get through the day.
It's the idiot light on our dash in our Jeeps that you kind of go, it's a check engine light. My Jeep still runs. Do I need to get it fixed? I don't know.
So my Jeep is in perfect shape right now, not because of me, but because of Danny, who is our safety officer and facilities manager here, who has taken my Jeep on a couple of different trips. Like he just took it down to TDS and he took it to another thing. And he comes to me and goes, you have an oil change due. Like, yeah, I'll get around to it. Give me your keys. And he goes and gets it done because he can't handle it. Like he's even telling me like, okay, you really need to program this so that it shifts better. And put the programmer in and the taser. When we sell tasers here, why don't you put a taser in and program it? I'm like, I can get around to it. No, you're gonna like it better. Like
and he went down too.
And he did everything else. So I have no lights on my dash right now. Mm-hmm. It's kind of boring. Like I like Christmas tree. I mean, that's
something to complain about.
What the hell? There's nothing to worry about. Like it's like he's gone all these different things on my rig because he there's no way he can drive all the way down south. By the way, if you're going to be in Baja at the end of the month, so Danny's going to be out there with his white Gladiator. And for those that are listening, if you happen to be down there, which I don't know how many of our listeners go down to Baja, but if you happen to be down there, it has a prototype JT long arm kit. Ooh. So it has a full rear prototype long arm on it, front long arms, rear long arm. And it will be the first one down there. Now it's already evolving, just installing that prototype. Ethan came up with some great ideas on how to make it better, have more clearance, and more travel. But it's a prototype on there. So he's taking that down to Baja, which is going to be fun because he's going to be pre-running with it with special Rock Sport shocks on it. These are not production model, guys. These are special Rock Sport shocks that we put on for the purposes of him pre-running with some special valving. And so it's going to be fun to see how it performs. Cool. You can, if you happen to be down at the Baja Oasis, I guess, is where he kind of hangs out with and he's part of the Baja Jerky crew. So, which is outstanding jerky. If you haven't tried it, try it. Baja Jerky. Yes. That's my plug for the day.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's fun. Anyway, keep going.
Nice. No, I think that's, again, like we've been talking about this whole episode, is things evolve. The folks that think that we're all just hanging out waiting for another day to go by. Yeah. Wow. I wish that was the case. So, yeah, I'm going to go out and finish taking off, part of Jesse's rack, and we got to take the rooftop tent off so we can get it to the graphics, gals, for Mike and Angel to work on. And, we look forward to seeing everybody in Easter Jeep Safari, and then stay tuned for our stuff coming up across the country, and we'll get a schedule to you all ASAP.
Yeah. And to reiterate what Corey was saying before, Modern Jeeper Adventure Moab, we've opened it up. That we're going to have more rigs there. We'll just let it go. As however many rigs decide to register for this last event, we're going to do it, and we'll make it, figure it out. We'll make it work. But it is open, and you guys can be a part of it. And we would love to see you all out there. And if you had an inclination to do a Modern Jeeper Adventure, you should hop onto this one because there will be future.
Last one of the year.
Yes, last one of the year. There will be future adventures. They're going to be different, and they're going to be different. They're not going to be the way we currently be doing stuff. So, and I think Aaron has already declared there will always be a Death Valley adventure. We're just not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure for people that are like, oh no, like Death Valley is near and dear to me. So don't worry about stuff like that. Just know that they're coming. There'll be cooler stuff coming for sure.
Yeah, there's cooler stuff coming. So, all right, my friends. Hey, Modern Jeepers, thanks for joining us for this hour. I'm Matson at MetalCloak.com. You can reach Corey at MetalCloak.com, Jessy at MetalCloak.com. And you know how to reach us, ModernJeeperAdventures.com. If you want to go and register for Moab, do it.
Get it done.
And anything else you want to share before we end up this amazing show?
No, sir. I think we're good. Have a good rest of the day, everybody.
Yes.
Cheers. We'll see you on the trails.
See ya.